What I'm trying to do is actually foster better relations between information security people and law enforcement people. In the bigger picture, the problem is that there are two groups that really kind of need to work together and actually are very similar in a lot of ways. They want the same kind of thing. Right. You don't wander into security. You do it because it's interesting.
Right.
People get into law enforcement for exactly the same reason. In law enforcement, they call themselves sheepdogs. They feel like they have just this thing where they have to watch over the flock. And I think that there's a lot of that in information security people. The problem is that cops are cops, and the fuzz sounds like the fuzz. I mean, they really do. They're suspicious. They're actually deeply suspicious of people.
Right.
They take a long time to warm up, and it's not like they're just going to accept what people say just because they say it.
Right.
I think information security people are sort of like that too, except to a cop, an information security person looks kind of like those hackers that we've heard about.
Right.
There's no training in law enforcement for information security, and I can tell you, I was in the police academy. We had the worst instructor, the oldest instructor, come in, and we had 4 hours total in 4.5 months of police academy. 4 hours of cybercrime. Okay, you're never gonna have to use this. You're never gonna have to deal with this. So let's just get it out of the way, And that was basically the way they did it. And I was in a damn good academy. By test scores, I was in the best academy in Texas. So that's the level of treatment that this gets. So in the at the very least, what we have to do is start to try to speak each other's languages so that we can at least communicate. The thing that I think a lot of people forget, we get so enamored of the technology, we get so enamored of the way people break into our stuff and steal our stuff, that we forget that it's just crime. These are crimes. There's a law against crimes, right? This is a model that's gone on for a long time. Police investigate crimes if they understand what it is. I guarantee you, if you go into a police station and say, I just got beat over the head, somebody took my wallet, cops are going to do something. It's a little harder if they don't understand that you were beaten over the head. They don't understand what happened. They don't understand the value. So articulating in terms that both camps can understand, that's important. I think having trust between the two sides, that's important. And that only comes from communication. So communication, I think, is a starting place. Mm-hmm. The other problem is that there's so many people competing for my time. The average caseload, I put on a uniform and I go, I pull people over in cars at this point, right? I'm the rookie who gets coffee. My sergeant, a detective, he has 60, 70 cases going. So if he's not 100% sure about how this thing is going to look, what is my path to success? What does success look like? How do I sell this to my boss, to his boss who is elected, to that boss who has to talk to a judge, the DA, and get a grand jury and true bill it and see this thing all the way through? If we don't understand it, we're probably going to say we can't help you. And I think that a lot of that is, going back to what you asked earlier, that comes back to the training. I think that the way in information security we look at it, we can say, well, things are solved. We've tracked this back. We know exactly what happened. We know patient 0. We see where it came in, what happened. We know exactly how it happened. Here it is forensically. What's our path to success now? What do we do with this? Do we say, okay, we're going to patch up all those holes so that doesn't happen again? Probably. Is that success? In a way. Do we want to go farther? Do we want to prosecute? Do we want to see if we're part of a larger crime? I'm not sure that occurs to many of us, because while cops might want to not talk about things that they don't understand, businesses don't really want to talk about things that make them look very bad. They don't want their customers to find out that their data might not be as safe as the company would like people to think. So I'm not sure how really different it is. There are different events and different things that happen on both ends. But I think that the driving forces are about the same. Oftentimes on the information security side, we don't know exactly what they took, and we don't know exactly what it's worth, which points out some holes in the way information security works.
Right.
The way crimes work, generally speaking, the more you're stealing, the more serious the crime. So if you can put a dollar amount on it, and the dollar amount gets very, very big, you can get different resources. The first problem that you pointed out earlier was about jurisdiction, right? My servers down in Georgia got compromised because my point-of-sale devices in Texas got malware, and then somebody got the credentials to my bank account, which is the bank in New York, but their servers are in California, and then they ordered a fake ACH transfer, which went to the Ukraine. Who is jurisdiction? Anybody want to raise their hand and say, I do? No one wants that one, right? But if you say, okay, there's $392,000, okay, people start to get interested. Now, maybe each of those jurisdictions might have a piece. You could shop jurisdictions if you're if you're a little bit creative and you have the connections to do that. If there are agencies out there that you could interest in this, everything becomes possible once you're able to put a value on it and put a place on it. Now people can do something. If you say, I got hacked, help me, it's very, very difficult to help you. So the more you can articulate and more specifically you can articulate, the better your chances of getting help. If you're somebody who could offer that kind of service, where you can just be there as a resource, not to go in and solve the crime, but just help people understand what can be done in our world, in the digital world, right? That's very useful. I guarantee you, if you had that conversation with a cop and you were helpful to him, saved him an hour of research, the next time your company has a problem and you need a cop to call, he's going to listen because he knows you, he trusts you, you've got rapport, and now he wants to help you. And because you spoke his language, he'll try to speak yours. Until people start to speak, we won't solve the problems. People who are doing this every single day are doing a fantastic job with limited resources in a dynamic, constantly changing environment where the enemy is developing technologies as fast as they can because it's very, very profitable. We can plod along and try to keep up and try to plug holes, but people are taking advantages of a system that was not really designed for this. So the more we talk about it, the more we can start to address how we can do this on all sides of the problem.